Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Box Room. I have been endlessly sort of sorting through and tidying up, and I was in the basement and I found this toolbox. And I was like, oh, a toolbox. And I thought, well, maybe it's empty. Picked it up, no, it's not empty. So, there's a lot of cool hardware stuff in there, but as I've had it now for 30-some years and haven't used it, most of it probably can go away. And as I have a relative who recently bought a farmhouse, maybe some of this would be helpful. Here we have some nuts and bolts from Canadian Tire. They were got. Machine screw with nuts. 832 times 1. 35 cents. Anyway, never been opened, of course. These things, great big washers, like really heavy. I'm sure they would be handy for something, but they would not go in a Commodore 64 or a VIC-20. I'm going to carefully put them in there so I don't dent the floor. These things, they look kind of like cotter pin things. They do, but I'm not sure what they would go to. They were 30 cents from Canadian Tire. So, what else? Oh, here's some things for somebody who is just perhaps running some cable. Of course, who uses cable anymore now that we have Wi-Fi? But perhaps, still, there might be a cable or something to run. Little clips to go to clip something to a wall or something. What do we have here? Well, these things are interesting. Yeah, tiny little similar things, but they look like more automotive related. And see, they say Glowtron. There used to be a store on Avenue Road called Globe Electronics, and we always knew when Dad had made a trip there because the house would smell like cigar smoke. Not because he smoked a cigar, but because the fellow who owned it smoked cigars, and everything that came from there smelled like cigars. Here are some things that I think what they are supposed to do is they're like little wedges. And I think if you have a big axe handle or a little axe handle or something, or a hammer thing, they help keep the head on. So I've had them in this bag for a long time. I'm going to put them in another bag so I can send them in there. Here is, ooh, that's heavy. Definitely something that my dad would have made. It's kind of like a straight hammer thing, or to thunk something, but I can tell by the rubber and the thing and the stuff that somewhere he got this, all the pieces and parts, and put it all together, and it's heavy, and I'm not sure what it's for. It could be a very handy thing. It could be. But, once again, I've had it for a long time. I have never used it. I have not. So this is so heavy, I'm going to put it in its own bag. Because you see, later today, it's possible my brother will be coming by. Now this is for a handrail. And actually here, where I am, I have a handrail that, oh, there's another one, that I know one of these things got broken on. And the handrail is no longer in position because of that. So these may be handy here, so I'll hold on to, oh, there's another, 3 of them, another one. Oh wait, there could be more. There's more, there's always more. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, more wire clips that would either probably take a screw or a nail. Also, perhaps handy for somebody who might be running wires around the farmhouse. Oh, here's some more of the same thing. These are bigger. They might even do for some sort of electrical wiring. Who knows? Anyway, once again, into the bag. These, of course, came from Global Electronics on Avenue Road years ago. Here is a little bag, so I don't have to open it to tell. It has some big washers, maybe even an inch in size. They can go here. Well, this is interesting. It's a little wee hammer. And the head is a little loose, but not bad. That could be handy for hanging pictures, which I may do. This is an interesting thing. This alerts you if there is water in your basement. And what you're supposed to do, I had this and used it in my house long ago. And what it is, it mounted on the wall. This thing went right on the floor. And this thing, it took a 9-volt battery. And if there was water that came in, it would scream. Am I going to use it? No. Do I have the original little thing it clipped onto? Probably not. But I'm going to send it away. Oh, more wire clips. What else? More 4 stove bolts. Never have enough of them, even though I do. Here's some more of the things that look kind of like cotter pins. How do I tell they're maybe a cotter pin of significant size? Well, they have a kind of look like a nail on one end and then flat on the other, and there's a hole into the bag. What else? Oh. Now here is an interesting thing. This is a hammer. And you know what? I think I'm going to send it away because it's probably, I'm just looking for markings. It is very likely something that my brother or I, possibly, or my dad, made. It's heavy. And it could be actually good. It's got enough weight, it would be good for maybe picture hanging stuff. But I think I will put it with the other bag of heavy stuff and send it away. Now here is a vintage bag from Aikenheads. Now, Aikenheads was in Toronto for a long time, and then they weren't, and then they kind of came back, but then they became Home Depot. So if you're ever in a Home Depot and you see that the shelves are green instead of orange, well, it was an Aikenhead. Here, oh, some little things that you would screw in that give you a little round thing. Interesting. Aikenheads. Everything in hardware. On Temperance Street. Oh, it still has the old phone number, which starts with EM3 9111. Branches throughout the city. The bag is probably more interesting than the things. Now, I'm not sure what those little round things would be good for, but there must be something. I do remember that in the garage at one, where my brother and I lived, it was semi-detached houses side by side. There was a garage in the back. On the one side it had an attic of significance, and there was a string that was probably run through things like that, that if you pulled it, it would turn on the light up above. Do I have something like that? No, I don't. Oh, here's another bag. What is in this bag? Oh, no nuts. With almost a funny flat head on them. Or like almost a washer built into them. Once again, perhaps useful, perhaps not. Aha. Now there is a vintage hammer. It is so vintage it has rust on it. The head actually is not really round anymore. The handle feels really good. It would kind of be handy, but you know what? As I am doing my best to be rid of things, I'm going to put it away. And here is something of some significance. This is a telephone thing. Now it has been close to, well, it was down in the basement where there was some soot at one point, But what it is, it's a companion thing. It's actually called a companion that went with a phone that gave you a speakerphone. Now, am I ever going to use this again? No, I'm not. So and it has the power supply. I'm not going to spend any more time diddling around with it. I'm going to put it in the bag. I was thinking of using a box, but I think a box would have been too large. What do we have here? Another box, another little bag. And what is in this little, little tiny wee washers. Beautiful. There we go. Oh, there's an interesting thingy. As is that, but that is, oh. Here, this I'm going to hold on to. This is like it's a coaster. And it's quite something. It's metal, and it says Toronto, Canada with maple leaf. But such things are good for putting little parts in. What do I feel? Oh, once again, a little wee hammer. Probably good for picture things. Maybe even better than this one. But it does have a tiny, tiny little head. But it is looking more interesting. You know what? Maybe I'll put this in the bag to go. Let's see what else is in here. Nuts and bolts. Hexagon bolts and nuts. 1/4 by 2 inch. From Canadian Tire. Oh, here's a little thing like KLG. Ooh. My eyes are going weird. Anyway, this has little wedges for hammers and axes and things. Who knows? Oh, one of them was 7 cents. Probably something. Who knows? Could have gone back to my grandfather's day. This is something, although it looks kind of ugly. What it is, it's a spring-loaded hinge, and it's good to put onto a gate that you don't want to stay open. And I have a gate like that. What is this? Machine screws. Well, it says machine screws, but what's really in here is a whole lot of kind of lock washer looking things. Kind of. They have little extra things on them. There's a lot of them. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to put them all very carefully into the box, close the lid, put them in the bag. Oh my. There is a wedge for, I'm sure, an axe handle or something of that nature. It is not in a box. It's not in a bag. Here, this is a thing. It's a 90-degree thing. I think if you were building something and you were having probably 2x4s of sorts come together in one spot, you could very nicely fasten. I'm not sure how you would well, maybe not 2x4. I don't know. Anyway, you know what? I've had it. I've not done anything with it. Away it goes. What else is in here? Oh yes. Another teeny tiny wedge thing. And here, I don't know what you call these things. Oh, I think I see another wedge thing. You know what, I'm just going to toss these in the bag, and then I'll rescue one. But what they're for, from what I remember, these little weeny things, is say you were building a screen out of wood and you had two edges that came together, or a window or something like that. These little things they have a sharp edge. You would drive in to keep the connection of the wood at the corners strong and secure. And, of course, have I used them? No, there's another one. I think there was another mixed in there. There was perhaps another wedge thing. So yes, these spring-loaded gate things, I do have a gate that I think this will be handy for. So I have two of them, so I will put them back into the toolbox. And this little wee hammer, out of all the hammers, I can hold on to that. And these things, it is tempting to only keep two, because I would only need two. And what good is having one? What good indeed. You know what? I think I'm going to be brave. I'm going to put two in there. Oh, more clips. More clips. I'm going to put two in there, and it is possible. I don't know if these would at all be handy to someone who just got a farmhouse, but they might be. So, and I only need two. So, I'm going to put that in. Okay, so the toolbox is mostly now empty. Here is something of significance. This is a glove that I have worn when riding my old motorcycle. And somewhere, I'm probably in it, I have the other one. But the reason this comes to mind is that I was once on a movie thing, and they were trying to figure out costuming. And in front of me they had an assortment of gloves, and one pair of them looked an awful lot like this. And I said, oh, well, those probably won't fit. And I said, I bet you they will. And I put them on, and they're kind of like gauntlet gloves. And when they looked at it, they said, that's it, that really made the costume. And I said, yeah, I have gloves like this at home. I like them. And it really was special. They were not this color, but it was special. Anyway, somewhere I will find the other glove and keep it together. The last thing I have here, and this is cool and vintage. It is a ratchet kind of screwdriver, but the ratchet really doesn't work anymore, but that's okay. There's just a little flippy thing here. But the cool thing about it is it's a multi-bit screwdriver, and this is old school. It's all metal. This was probably my grandfather's. So what happens is there's a thing here. When it's closed up, the thing that slides in and out, you put all the bits away. But when it's time to pick a bit, you flip them open, you decide which bit you need, and it has a Phillips, it has a straight, and it has what looks like a tiny little straight blade thing. And then you flip the other two back down and leave them inside, and then you have the bit that you want handy. Now, the ratchet thing, I guess it kind of works. Yeah, I guess it does. There's a little thing that you flip over to decide which way. Oh, and if you leave it straight up, it just stays. And now it's stuck. Okay, what have I done? Excellent. I have now this thing, which is God knows how old, I've now stuck it. Oh well. There must be a way. Well, I really probably only need it as a normal screwdriver anyway. Oh, look at that. Okay, I got it. Okay, so as a ratchet, and it's a kind of a funny ratchet, but it does work. But if you do want it to just work as a normal screwdriver, you put this thing straight up and push it ever so slightly. It goes down and locks into place, and then it's a regular screwdriver. And this I'm going to keep handy here because I will use it. I shall when I explore Commodore machines. It is nothing to do with Commodore. But I would suspect, who knows, this might have been something. My grandfather taught auto mechanics at Danforth Tech long ago, before I was born. Who knows, this may have been something he carried in his pocket and used on occasion. Perhaps. Anyway, it does seem all together. It does seem to be quite happy. It does seem to work. So, what have I got here now? I have two little shopping bag type things. One And it is not the kind of stuff I can throw away, but I can happily pass it on to my brother, and then he can see if it is going to be of any use at all with, well, anything he has or anything that anybody in the North might need. And if not, I'm sure they'll end up in a box somewhere, or in a toolbox. And they'll probably be there for a very long time. Anyway, what have I done? Well, I now have a toolbox that's quite a bit lighter. Oh, and I might go in here. Here, this. I'm not sure what to do with this. This is a red marker. You know what I'm thinking? I'm going to send it away too. Be good for marking boxes and things. But this is one of those kind of, when you open it and you go, it's like that old thing. I think some people in the old days would even think, ooh, we can sniff that and get high. You know what? I have enough Sharpies. I think I'll send that away. So I've sent most everything away. This, of course, this I will keep to set parts in. I shall. And this toolbox, of course, I will put things in and probably keep it handy here so I know where things are. Or who knows, at some point maybe I'll send the toolbox away too. Anyway, there. I have uncluttered a toolbox and de-hoarded just a little wee bit. So, live from the box room, I shall continue. Thank you for coming. Always a pleasure. Bye for now.